Data science is no longer the future, it's the present. And if you have been thinking about becoming a data scientist, there's never been a better time to start. According to recent UK and global market reports, the demand for data scientists has grown over 300% in the last 5 years. There are currently 50,000 plus open roles in the UK and over 200,000 roles globally. The average starting salary for entry level roles is £45,000 to £60,000, with senior roles going well beyond 100,000 plus. Sectors hiring include finance, healthcare, tech, retail, sports, and government. So your skills are in demand everywhere. Yet, despite the high demand, many people feel stuck, overwhelmed, and unsure of where to begin. That's exactly why we are launching this data scientist course, a week by week plan to help you go from complete beginner to job ready data professional. In each episode, we will cover what skills to learn and in what order, tools, languages, and real world projects, and make your portfolio stand out. How to master Python, SQL, machine learning, and AI step by step. And how to get interview ready with real case studies and recruiter tips. This roadmap will show you exactly what to do, when to do, and how to stay motivated along the way. So if you're serious about becoming a data scientist in 2025, you don't want to miss this. Let's dive in by inviting Roshan, an ex-international student who is a senior data scientist in the UK. Hi Roshan, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Thanks, Arika, for having me here. So, hi everyone, I'm Roshan, and I have been in the world of data for well over half a decade now. I started my career as a data engineer after finishing my bachelor's in computer science. And then after that, I decided to come to the UK to pursue my master's in data science. After pursuing my master's, I started working as a data scientist. And within 6 months, I had a sponsorship, and currently I'm working as a senior data scientist. And I also run a YouTube channel where I try to help people to get into the world of data science and also teach some programming and data related concepts.
And what is the name of your YouTube channel, Roshan?
The name of my YouTube channel is Programming Cradle.
Okay. So you publish videos to teach people there about data science. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So given that you're an expert in this field, today's topic is about how can anybody start their journey as a data scientist? Can they directly jump into data scientist, or do they need to learn about, say, data analyst, data engineer? So if you can tell my audience how can they start from zero and they can become a hero like you, that will be really helpful.
So there are different approach. I mean, yes, it is possible for a fresher to become a data scientist because in my organization, in my team itself, I have a couple of junior team members who started as a fresher data scientist. But if you want to have a gradual transition to data scientist, you can always start with, let's say, data analyst roles, and then you can move on to data scientist role because the data science domain is a very fast moving domain, and these days there are a lot of experienced people in the market looking for data science related roles. So when you are someone who is a fresher and you're competing against those people who have a lot of experience, it can be a little bit hard. So if you want to have a gradual shift, you can always start as a data analyst, and then you can work as a data scientist. But as I mentioned, you can always apply for data analyst or data scientist roles.
Okay, I have another question about your sponsorship job. How hard was it for you to land a sponsorship job here in the UK?
So I was not looking for sponsorship job straight away because I know it's very difficult for companies to just blindly provide sponsorship to someone. So I was just applying to all the jobs available in the market. So the first job that I had was at a startup, and startup was very open to provide sponsorship from the get-go. So I started my job with them on my student visa, and I was working there, and they had also applied for sponsorship. But the project that they were looking for, they never got that project. So they had to lay me off. So the sponsorship that I was about to get, I didn't get it. So I applied for post-study work visa, and then I again started finding a job. And within a couple of months, I found another job where
Okay.
I'm working currently. And there I worked for 6 months, and then I talked to my manager that you have seen my performance, you have seen my work experience and those kind of things. Do you think you will be open to provide me sponsorship? And they were very open about it. And they were like, yeah, we really like the way you work. And we see you as a leader in this team. So we are happy to provide you sponsorship. So within 6 months, I was able to get sponsorship.
Congratulations, amazing news. Okay. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you for sharing your journey. So let's get back to today's topic, which is about how to start not your journey, my audience. If they want to start their journey from zero to hero as a data scientist, what should they do?
Definitely. So I have prepared few slides. I would like to share my screen
Yes,
and
please.
then we can walk over
Yeah,
those
thank you.
things.
Yeah.
So the agenda for today is basically why you should get into data science, some of the services provided by your knowledge buddy, and what are the different jobs you can apply to. You have already known a little bit about me, so I probably won't cover that. Uh, Overview of the course, like what all things will be included, and then weekly breakdown. So straight away, let's jump into why data science. So there are five main reasons, but not limited to just these. The first one is the demand. So the demand for data science and AI roles are quite high. And as per one of the reports by World Economics Forum, there will be new 170 million jobs by 2030. So big opportunity there. It's a very diverse opportunity and diverse role. And it's not specific to just tech industry. A lot of companies in health industry, finance, marketing, they use data science quite a lot. And if you're someone who really like to make an impact and provide some detailed analysis and drive the business using data, this is definitely the world for you. And the next point is competitive pay. Usually, as a fresher, you can make starting from 30,000 to 35,000 pound. As an experienced individual, you'll be making a lot more than that.
Mhm.
The last one is data driven decision. These days, almost all the companies would like to make their decision based on data and not just guessing game. So a lot of different reasons to be a data scientist. Let's move on to the different jobs that you can apply to. So as a data scientist or someone who knows all the tools and techniques in data science domain, you can obviously apply for data scientist roles, but you can also apply for data engineering role, data analyst role, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, and LLM engineer. Because data science is an umbrella term, and a lot of the things you do as a data engineer, data analyst, and all of these roles cover under data scientist. So now let's talk about the course overview. So this course is a 24-week comprehensive program, and we will talk about the weekly breakdown in subsequent slides. Things that you will learn is going to be Python, stats, machine learning, deep learning, and large language models. And apart from this, there will be a lot more other things you will be learning. And this is a very hands-on program, so you'll be working on real-world projects every week, and you will also get mock interview support so that you can build some confidence. So now let's take a look at the weekly breakdown. So I've divided this whole roadmap into 4 phases. So the first phase is all about fundamentals, and this is a 6-week plan. So the first thing is Python fundamentals. In Python, you will be learning about various variables, syntax, data types, operators, and those kind of things. And then you will also be learning about data structures, because it's very important as a data scientist to know which data structure to use while handling the data. We'll also be learning about file handling and error handling, because trust me, you will be dealing with a lot of files, and you will be taking care of a lot of errors as well. And package management is very important, because as a data scientist, you'll be dealing with a lot of different packages. And not just that, once you are done with your model training and those kind of things, you will be converting a lot of your stuff into various packages so that it can be reused. In week 2, we will be covering mathematics for data science. So things like linear algebra and calculus. In linear algebra, there will be things like vector, matrix, and various operations. And in calculus, you will be learning derivatives and partial difference in gradients, because these are the backbone of any of the machine learning algorithms. In week 3, we will be taking care of statistics, because statistics very important when you are doing any kind of data analysis, and that's how you will be able to prove that how reliable your analysis is. So this is divided into 2 weeks. In first week, we will be talking about descriptive and probability statistics, and in week 4, we will be talking about inferential statistics. So In descriptive statistics, we will be talking about mean, median, mode, all those basic stuff. And then we will also take a look at probability and what conditional probability is, Bayes theorem. These are very important. So we'll be looking at that. In inferential statistics, we will take a look at core concepts like sampling, because sampling is very important. You cannot always work on the population, so you need to sample data. There are different ways of sampling. You need to use central limit theorem. Hypothesis testing is again very important. So those kind of things. And there are a lot of different type of tests as well. So for example, t-test, z-test, chi-square test, and a lot of other things. So quite a lot of things will be covered in these 2 weeks. But it's not just about the core concepts. You also need to know how to use version control, because when you will be working in a team, you are not going to just work on your local system. There will be a lot of other people contributing to the code base that you're writing. So that's where Git and GitHub come into picture. So we will try to understand what is a local and remote repository, what is the difference between Git and GitHub, how you can manage different branches, how to merge them, those kind of things, and then some essentials like how to init your repository, how to clone a repository if the repository already exists, then how to add, commit, push, and pull, those kind of things. And we will also create different repositories for the project that you will be working on so that you will get used to using these commands. Week 6 will be all about SQL, because as a data scientist, I personally use SQL on a daily basis. So if I want to look at a data and just want to very quickly explore what all things are available, I always use SQL. And then once I'm happy, I always pull the data in my Python environment, and then I try to do whatever I would like to do with the data. So we will.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, yeah.
So with now ChatGPT and with so many AI tools, how easy do you think it is now? For example, learning as a SQL. I learned SQL when I was in college. At that time, of course, we did not have any ChatGPT or AI. And now when students have to learn, do you think it's quite easy now by taking help from AI?
Yes, definitely. And I personally use ChatGPT to generate some of the SQLs. And if I have to fine tune them, I do it on my end.
Okay.
So if you are someone who is very new to SQL and it doesn't know, you don't know that how to write SQL query, that is perfectly fine. You can always ask ChatGPT. One thing I would always mention this to all the people who are very new is that when you ask these questions to ChatGPT, always try to learn the things that is being used in a particular query. So for example, if ChatGPT is using group by, you can always ask why you're using group by, what group by does. That way you're not just using the queries generated by ChatGPT, you actually know why it is using those things. So next time if you have to use ChatGPT, you can do that. And coming back to your point, if you simply want to learn, it's a very good platform. You just need to ask it, generate a curriculum for me to learn SQL. It actually gives you very good breakdown of what all things you need to learn. And then you can one by one ask, can you explain me what is select statement? Can you explain me what is from statement? And those kind of things. So yes, that's a very good point. ChatGPT definitely helps to learn these things very quickly.
Thank you.
Now moving on to the phase two. Phase two is all about data handling and visualization. So it's a 4 week plan. In first week or in the seventh week, we will be talking about pandas data frame to manipulate data. So as a data scientist, I use pandas all the time. Yes, when the data grows, you need to look at distributed systems, and that is what we will look in week 10. But for basic data analysis and data munging, pandas is a very good package and a very popular package. So in this, we will be talking about series and data frame, because there are different type of data that is available, and then indexing, so that you can always index different kind of data set, and you can select number of rows whichever you want, and data loading using pandas. And you can load data from a lot of different type of files, for example CSV, Excel, those kind of things. So we will look into those things. Next one is data wrangling, so handling missing values, cleaning, transformation, those kind of things. And these are very important because whenever you download data from, let's say, Kaggle, it is mostly clean and you don't have to do quite a lot of these things. But when you're working on a real world data in an organization, the data is very messy and you need to know how to handle these things. In week 8, we will take a look at data visualization using Matplotlib and Seaborn. So both of these packages are used for data visualization. Matplotlib and Seaborn are very similar, but Seaborn generally generates much more beautiful looking visuals. So we will try to use both of them, and we will create different type of plots, for example, line chart, scatter plot, histogram, and things like that. In Seaborn as well, we will create a heat map, pair plot, because when you will do exploit analysis, you will be creating these kind of heat map pair plots quite a lot. So we will work on those things as well. Week 9 will be all about plotting and reporting, because using Seaborn and Matplotlib, you can create some really nice static plots, but it's also very important to create some very dynamic and reportable visuals. So in Plotly, we will be creating interactive visualization, and for reporting, we will use Power BI or Tableau. I personally use Power BI quite a lot, and I think Power BI is very powerful, but if you are on Mac, you can always use Tableau. The next one is big data. And if you are working in an organization, trust me, data is always very, very large. And to be able to always use pandas, it's not possible. So we will be taking a look at PySpark. It's an open source framework using which you can make use of distributed computing, and you can handle large amount of data. We will learn about 4 V's of big data, and we will also try to transform some of the large data, and we will also make use of either Snowflake or Databricks to actually use big data in a system, which all the companies do, and it's not just going to be reading from an Excel sheet or something like that. So very practical and very productionizable kind of code base. So now moving on to the phase 3, which is all about machine learning and deep learning. This is something a lot of people are always excited about, but then most people are very scared about as well. So in 11th week, we will talk about machine learning, and machine learning is divided into 4 subsections. In first part, we will talk about supervised learning, regression algorithms. So in machine learning, we will talk about what is training, validation, and how to split your data into different sets. And we will also talk about bias variance trade-off. In regression models, we will look at linear regression, polynomial regression, and also we will look at some of the metrics that you will be using to validate your model, such as mean absolute error, mean squared error, so on and so forth. In week 12, we will take a look at classifications. So in machine learning, there are 2 different type of problems. Regression is all about predicting the numbers, whereas classification is trying to classify whether it's an apple or an orange. So we will be looking at classification in week 12. And in this, we will be looking at some of the algorithms like logistic regression, decision tree, random forest, SVM, KNN. And again, we will be looking at some of the metrics that are used uh, to measure the accuracy of classification model, such as accuracy, precision, recall, and things like that. In week 13, we will try to look at some of the advanced supervised learning models, such as XGBoost and CatBoost. And we will also try to hyperparameter different parameters. And we will use grid search, random search, and cross validation. In week 14, we will take a look at unsupervised learning. So things like k-mean, dbScan, and all the other clustering algorithms. We will not be just limited to these. We will also take a look at other algorithms as well. And for dimensional reduction, we will take a look at principal component analysis, because when you are dealing with a very highly dimensional data, you sometimes want to reduce the dimension of the data to be able to analyze and see what is actually there in the data, and easy to understand for data scientists or even for the other stakeholders. In week 15, we will start to jump into deep learning side of things. So we'll start with some of the very basic things like what are neurons, what are layers, activation function, backpropagation, and things like that. And then we will take a look at the framework, which is TensorFlow. So for Implementing any of the deep learning algorithms, we will be using TensorFlow as a framework. In week 16, we will look at CNN, so convolutional neural network. This is what we use for mostly image processing or image related projects. So we will understand what is convolutional layer, what is pooling layer, and different feature maps. And then we will also try to implement an image classification uh, algorithm, and we will be working on either MNIST dataset or CFAR dataset. In week 17, we will take a look at recurrent neural network. So here we will learn concepts like sequential data, recurrent connections, and we will look at some of the very popular architectures like LSTM and GRU. And we will also try to work on time series analysis and natural language processing. So this was all about phase 3 of the roadmap. In phase 4, we will take a look at some of the very advanced topics such as Gen AI side of things. So here I have divided it into several sections. So first part is going to be GAN and attention mechanism. So these are the backbone of most of the generative AI algorithms, transformer based algorithms. So here first we will understand about generative adversarial network and what are generators and what are discriminators, and we will understand about attention mechanism. So once you'll understand these things, it will be a lot more easier for you to understand how transformers work, and that's what we will look at in week 19. So we will understand decoder, encoder, and multi-head attention. So that way you are not just learning the um, applied side of things, but you also understand what is actually going on under the hood. So that will help you to answer a lot of questions in your interview. In week 20, we will take a look at diffusion models. So diffusion model is used for generating images. And so we will not be just limiting this to natural language side of thing. We will also be looking at image dataset. In week 21, we will take a look at natural language processing. So I have divided this into two parts because there is quite a lot of things to cover in this one. So first we will start with very basic stuff like prompt engineering, how to structure your prompt and how to make most out of a large language model in terms of getting an output. Then we will try to look at what RAG is, or retrieval augmented generation. This is one of the most popular framework using which you can make different large language model based applications. But as you know, things are moving a lot more faster. So there are a lot more new things coming in. That's what we will learn in week 22, where we will first try to fine tune some of the large language models. And then we will also take a look at agentic AI, because this is the most trending thing these days, and in our organization we use this quite a lot. We have built a lot of different type of agents, and then we try to connect them and get a lot of answers out of it. But data science is not just about technical skills. So far we have covered almost all the technical skills, but we also need to work on some of the soft skills. So in week 23, we will be looking at some of the communication skills, techniques that you can use to simplify the way you communicate. Because when we work as a data scientist with a lot of other stakeholders, there are a lot of non-technical stakeholders and they don't understand all these technical terms. So you always need to dumb things down. So we will practice those things. We will also be working on your presentation skills. And when we are working as a data scientist, we are dealing with a lot of data. So that's where ethical understanding comes into picture. You need to know how to handle specific data. And we will also try to look at some domain expertise, because as a data scientist, you're not just performing any statistical analysis, you also need to understand specific domain to be able to make most out of the data. In week 24, we will work on profile building and try to find some open source project which you can do after this particular program, so that you can keep on building some more practical knowledge and skills. And we will also be working on one of the capstone projects. So this is the 4 phase or 24-week roadmap to become a data scientist.
A big commitment, Roshan. 24 months, sorry, 24 weeks.
It is because you can see there is so many things, and if we try to condense it in a shorter period of time, it will just be very overloading for anyone to be able to learn all these things.
Okay. I have a question for you. Roshan, what if somebody starts with you and they want to start, say, data scientist, but they realize they're more interested in data engineering? Because I could see some of the topics which were overlapping, say, for a data analyst, data engineer. Then will you tell them that, okay, stop, don't do this modules, continue for the data engineer? This is enough. Maybe what you're covering, say, in the initial few weeks, that will be good enough for them as a data engineer. So do you also do that? Will you do that?
Yes, definitely. Because as I mentioned earlier, data science is an umbrella term and there are a lot of things inside. And
Right.
it totally depends on person to person. If they are not interested in everything, if they really want to focus or specialize on one thing, that is perfectly fine. And there are demand for all of those skills as well. So yeah, if they don't want to focus on everything, yes, there will be specialized pathway for them as well.
Okay, Roshan, all the modules that you talked about in the classes. So when you will be taking classes, will it be like 30 minutes each week? Is that what you plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yes.
Okay, and then you'll be giving them practical examples to solve, like hands-on, so that they do their homework next week. When they come, you review it to make sure they're on the right track, and then you move to the next module.
Yes, definitely. And I believe in learn by working on different things. And when I do these projects on my channel as well, I always give some small challenges to people so that they can go on work on those things. So I always believe in that, and that's a really good point that you mentioned. There will be challenges every week so that they can go and learn.
Yeah. I think what my audience should do, they should check out your YouTube channel, see what are the things you have explained. Because if they want to get into data scientist without having any prior experience, what I'm nervous about, they may start, they may get excited because they know this job is still eligible for skill visa because still it's RQ level 6. What if they lose interest, and what if they realize this is not for them just because it's demand, but maybe they don't have that kind of interest to do it, and it will be waste of your effort, time, energy, and from both the side. So I think personally, I think if they can check out your some of the videos which you have already done to see to get a hang about what is data scientist. Do you think that will work?
That's actually a very good point because a lot of people, when they come to look at data science related roles or AI related roles, they just come because they hear these buzzwords and
Fine.
think that these are very popular stuff. But when they actually start working on these things, they realize that
It's not for
no,
them.
this is not for them. So I always recommend someone who is looking to be a data scientist, check out all the open source material available on my channel. There are like tons and tons of material available. So check out those things first and then make your mind whether it is actually for you or not.
Exactly. Because when I'm teaching business analysts today to people, I say, do not just jump into it because I'll be your mentor, because I have tons of experience and it's still in demand. Do your research first. I tell them, I give them a lot of resources to read to see, is that really for them? Do you really want to do it? And then
Exactly.
convinced, go for it. Okay. So I'm going to suggest to my audience, I'm going to leave the link of Roshan's YouTube channel. And also I'm going to leave a meeting link where you can book your meeting, talk about your questions for 15 minutes. And then if you're interested to join in the data scientist program, of course, you can email us at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. And also remember, guys, just because Roshan volunteered to be your mentor, if you think you can learn on your own, there are a lot of free materials which is already available on internet, YouTube, Coursera, Udemy. You can do that because I'm getting requests from people and students who are struggling here. They were looking for mentors, especially they were asking for someone ex-international student who went through the same journey. They wanted to be mentored from them. That's why I've started this series where I'm bringing ex-international student who have got a sponsorship job and who can also teach and mentor my audience. So if you're interested to learn data scientist or a data engineering from Roshan, email us at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. Okay. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you for coming and sharing the roadmap with my students, and good luck to you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.